All right, let's talk about a tool that sits right at the heart of modern software development and DevOps, JFrog Artifactory. We're going to break down what it is, why it's so incredibly important, and how it really provides the foundation for shipping reliable software.
So, to really get what Artifactory is all about, we first have to understand the problem it was built to solve. And it all comes down to the, let's call it, organized chaos of managing the actual outputs of our code, the things we call binaries or artifacts.
Seriously, think about it for a second. We are all incredibly disciplined when it comes to our source code. We use systems like Git for versioning, for collaboration, for history. It's all locked down. But what about the things we build from that code? You know, the Docker images, the Java jars, the NPM packages. Where is their single source of truth? Because when you don't have a central system for these artifacts, oh man, things get messy, and they get messy fast. You end up with teams downloading the same dependencies over and over again from the public internet, which leads to slow and totally inconsistent builds. There's zero traceability to know which build came from which commit, and security becomes an absolute nightmare. It is a recipe for unreliable pipelines.
And that is precisely the chaos that Artifactory steps in to solve. It's designed to bring order to this whole mess by becoming the one single central source for all of your software artifacts.
So what is it, formally? Well, Artifactory is a binary repository manager. Its core job is to be that single source of truth for every package, every container image, and every compiled binary that your development process produces or consumes. It manages the whole lifecycle, from the moment the code is built to the second it's released. Now, this analogy is maybe the simplest and most powerful way to think about it. If Git and GitHub are where your source code lives, then Artifactory is the equivalent for your compiled code and your binaries. It gives you versioning, storage, and management, but for the outputs of your build process. Okay, so how does it actually work? To really understand the magic behind Artifactory, we need to pop the hood and look at its core architectural concept, the repository system. Artifactory's power really comes from a clever combination of three distinct types of repositories. You've got local repositories, remote repositories, and virtual repositories, and each one serves a very specific and crucial purpose. Let's break this down. As you can see here, local repositories are for your stuff, the artifacts your own organization produces internally. Think your team's compiled Docker images or Java builds. Then you have remote repositories. These act as a smart cache or a proxy for public repositories like Docker Hub or Maven Central. And finally, and this is the real magic layer, you have virtual repositories. They aggregate the others, combining multiple local and remote repositories into a single unified URL for your developers and your build tools. So now that we see the architecture, let's talk about how this fits into the bigger picture. With this system of repositories, Artifactory becomes an absolute powerhouse for modern DevOps practices. And a huge reason it plays such a central role is its universal nature. We are not talking about a tool that only works for Java or only for Docker. Artifactory supports over 30 different package formats, which is just a massive range. Let's look at what that actually means for your teams. It means it just doesn't matter what your tech stack is. Whether you're a Java shop using Maven, a front-end team on NPM, a data science team using Python, or a cloud-native team all in on Docker and Helm, Artifactory can manage all of it. This makes it perfect for organizations with lots of different technologies. And this visual right here says it all. Artifactory isn't just a storage box off to the side. It is the heart of the CI/CD pipeline. It's the critical bridge between your build tools, which produce artifacts, and your deployment tools, which consume them. It's what ensures that smooth, reliable flow of software. So what are the real benefits here? Well, first off, speed. Caching dependencies locally eliminates those slow public downloads. Then there's traceability. You get full build info that links every artifact all the way back to its source. Security is huge as it integrates with tools like JFrog Xray to scan for vulnerabilities. You get reliability with immutable, versioned, and reproducible builds every time. And it's all built for automation, with rich APIs that integrate with pretty much any tool out there. Which brings us to our wrap-up. It's so important to see Artifactory not just as another tool in the chain, but as a foundational piece of your entire DevOps infrastructure. And really, that's the key takeaway. In a world that is all about automation and speed, you have to have a foundation of trust. Artifactory provides that by making sure every single artifact you build, test, and deploy is secure, fully traceable, and completely reliable. So we'll end with this thought. As software gets more and more complex, managing its components, the software supply chain, is more critical than ever.
So it's worth taking a look at your own processes and asking, is your software supply chain built on solid ground? Thanks for watching.